Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch, and I'm delighted to be joined by a legend, bodybuilding icon and 6 times Mr Olympia, Dorian Yates.
What's up, Carl? Welcome to the
How are you
neighbourhood.
doing?
Welcome to sunny Spain.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm humbled, I'm honoured to be in the presence
You're
of...
a legend yourself, mate, and as we were saying earlier, from the Midlands as well. So,
Absolutely, yeah. Birmingham, right?
I'm from Birmingham, you're from Nottingham,
Nottingham,
right?
yeah.
So I think
45.
we did pretty good, mate. We did pretty good,
We did all right,
right?
didn't we?
Yeah.
We've not fully escaped the jungle yet. Well, I haven't, but you have.
Oh, yeah, for a while, mate.
But yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. But what are you up to these days? How do you spend your time?
Well, it varies. I mean, I got my main business, which is DY Nutrition. That's my supplement company, and we're expanding that now and bringing out new products. Got our own manufacturing facility.
I've seen it land on a lot of shelves.
Yeah, it's we really expanded in the last few years, and we've got our own facility now, which is great because I can bring out the kind of products I really want to bring out now. We got the bodybuilding range, and I'm bringing out for guys like us, you know, health and wellness, anti-aging and so on. So that's my main business, and then I do some limited amount of coaching and personal appearances and stuff like that, and you know, also balancing that out with just enjoying life and having fun. You know, you can get caught up in this, especially if you're like a competitive person, that you've always got to be doing stuff and always got to be achieving more. To a degree, yeah, you've got to have some goals, but I'm also enjoying life. So I live in Spain. I spend a lot of time biking outdoors, walking up mountains. I live right by the beach, so hanging on the beach, stuff like that. Enjoying that, you know, all that hard work and dedication that the young Dorian put in.
Absolutely.
And all the sacrifice and all the stuff that I didn't do then, I'm like kind of free to do now.
And thoroughly deserved.
Enjoy it all, mate.
Enjoying the fruits of your labour.
Exactly. I feel proud of what I did, and I feel I deserve to enjoy myself, so I do.
Absolutely. And just in case you didn't notice, we're not in England. We're in Spain. We're in Marbella. Are you based in Marbella?
Yeah, I've been out here for 13 years now, I think.
13 years
Marbella, yeah.
And you'd never consider going back to England?
No, I never considered going back to England. I mean, the weather is never good, so the weather's beautiful here, and I just feel the quality of life and in UK has really gone down, even a lot since I left in 10 or 12 years. So yeah, I really enjoy life out here. My wife's Brazilian, so she's used to living in you know, she wasn't used to living in Birmingham and it's snowing and raining, but she did it for a while.
Yeah. Well, before we get into being in Spain and in Marbella and this wonderful place called Cannabis, in case you can't read, this is
yeah, so it's a
we'll
members club, yeah, private
members club. We'll go into
right.
that in a minute. Then we've not smoked any weed yet, mind you. You've probably had a couple of burns on it.
I've had a little bit, I must admit.
Yeah, pure idle.
Wake and bake.
It does it.
No tobacco.
It does it the proper way. Big guns. What would you expect from 6-time Mr Olympia? But yeah, where are we? Let's have a look. So, what got you into bodybuilding? Why bodybuilding? Where did it all begin?
Where did it all begin? Well, it's probably quite a long story. If you think, where does it all begin? I don't know. Perception of this strong male figure, this physique, I don't know, probably...
Was there anybody you looked up to as a kid and said...
Well, it was like, when I was really young, like there was the Tarzan movies, you don't have them anymore, but there was, you know, this guy swinging through the jungle, pretty muscular, and it's like, also he was a loner, right?
Yeah,
and he, you know, he worked with the animals and everything, so, and he was a force for good, I suppose. So there was that, and then I really got interested in Kung Fu and Bruce Lee, all the Bruce Lee movies and everything. So
who didn't in the 80s and that?
Yeah, I mean, I had Bruce Lee posters on the wall before I knew really what bodybuilding was. But he had a physique, although he was very small. I mean, he still had a physique and everything. He did weight training. And I loved that, and I did a bit of karate. But what I found I was liking the conditioning more than the actual, like trying to learn the moves of karate. So like the squats, the push-ups, I enjoyed it. I liked that more somehow. Then I got introduced to weights. I started doing that, and I left home at 16, and then all that kind of went to the wayside. 18 years old, I was in a detention centre for some stupid stuff, nothing serious, but anyway, there I was in a detention centre for a few months.
At 18 years old?
Yeah, and they had weights in there. You know, the detention centre, the whole thing was this short, sharp shock. Yeah. We're going to take these unruly youths and we're going to give them military discipline, and we're going to train them, and we're going to, like, you know.
My dad had a similar.
Yeah, make them into responsible members of society. So that was the idea. So they had you marching everywhere. You got to make your bed like in a military. They have circuit training, and they had powerlifting as well. So one of the prison officers was a powerlifter. So we were doing powerlifting, and I was pretty much stronger than everyone in there, except for a couple of guys that were like much bigger and heavier than me.
What was the weight facilities like in the prisons? Was there
just barbell and dumbbells?
Barbell and dumbbells. Olympic bar?
Yeah, it was powerlifting. They want us to do bench press, squat, and deadlift. Yeah, and then you have some dumbbells. If the prison officer liked you, he was like, okay, Yates, go and do your little silly dumbbell flies or whatever you want to do. Yeah, so I was doing that, and then I realised with 300 guys in there that I had the best physique, and this is something I really enjoyed, and I could be good at it, and it was positive. Because there was guys in there that you knew this, you know, they were going to this is going to be their lifestyle. They already kind of accepted that they're going to live a criminal lifestyle, and this is just, you know, something that might happen. You might go to jail, and they already accepted that was their path, and I was like, fuck this, man, I'm not, this is not for me. I don't want to be a number locked up and being told what to do from the morning to the night. And I have something here that I really enjoy, that I can be good with, so I'm going to work with it. And
so there's no way you was going to become institutionalised and stay there for longer than what you needed to?
No way, mate. I mean, like,
that mindset.
I knew I was different from everybody. It was like, I don't know, it's almost like everyone else could feel that as well. I got treated differently by all the lads in there. The prison officers treated me with some level of respect. Just because, I don't know, just because of the way I carried myself. And they were like, Yates, you're not supposed to be in here.
And how long was you in there for?
It was 6 months, because I got jailed during the riots in Birmingham. And I wasn't in the riots. I'm not saying, you know, not the kind of lad that wouldn't be in it or wouldn't be getting into trouble. I'm sure I'd done something in all my years that could have put me, but not this day. We weren't doing anything. We were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, drunk, and we got picked up by the police. And basically anyone that got arrested on the streets during those few days of civil unrest in Birmingham were given 6 months. It was just standard, like no questions asked. Sorted out afterwards. So they gave me 6 months, and they went to an appeal, and they got it dropped down to 3 months. So I did 3 months in there, but it had it was like a big pivotal effect on me. Like, so this crossroads here, which way do you want to go?
I was about to say, so that point in time then, being inside and being under lock and key for that period, just that small period of time, is that when you feel like you, I don't know, not an epiphany, but you thought to yourself, actually, I could do something with the weightlifting?
This is it.
Is that what kickstarted
This is it. I'm doing something with it. It's not like...
So at 18 years old, how much did you weigh? How big was you at 18?
13 and a half stone, if we go in English money.
6 foot 1?
5'11".
Oh, 5'11".
So, yeah, 13 and a half stone. What's that? It's like 190 pounds or something?
Yeah.
Something
yeah,
like
about,
that.
yeah, it is about that.
But very lean, like...
Because 14
very lean. I always had like abs and intercostals and like just no body fat and a good shape, but not big. With my clothes on, you wouldn't be, oh, that look. But if I took them off, then it would be different. So that's the kind of shape that I had when I was in there.
So you did your time. You did your 3 to 6 months. You realised you enjoyed the weightlifting. Then when did you say, right, I'm going down the gym now and I'm going to start taking this seriously?
I said, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this seriously. But I got this kind of very logical way of looking at things, and almost like military way of the way I see and I plan things. So I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do bodybuilding, not powerlifting. The PO was saying do powerlifting. I said, I don't want to do that. I want to do bodybuilding. So I'm going to do bodybuilding. In order to do bodybuilding properly, I need somewhere to live. I need a job. I need stability. So I worked on that first.
Right, okay.
And while I was working on that, I was just reading about bodybuilding, reading about nutrition and learning, but I wasn't actually doing it.
Right, okay.
So it's a bit of a strange, because it meant when I started and I said, right, I'm going to do it, I had quite a bit of knowledge in theory.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I got somewhere to live eventually off the council, which you wouldn't get now, would you, you know?
No.
Going off on a tangent, but I was 19 years old, English kid with nowhere to live, and I got a council flat. Was not in a... It was in a rough area, but I don't care, you know, I was a rough kid anyway, so it didn't matter. So I got that, I got a job, and then I said, right, I'm going to start bodybuilding. And from that day when I started, I wrote down everything.
Yeah.
So I've got that first workout that I ever did.
That's exactly what I do. I've got 13 diaries for when I turn professional. I've got every press
got
up,
a
every
pile
sit-up.
of books there, yeah.
Yeah, there's something definitely a bit mad going on with high.
No, but it's
athletes.
it's strategizing, you see. Because it's like doing a science experiment. So if you don't record everything that you do and then see the outcome, you can't
improve?
see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah,
exactly.
so
That's my logic.
it's a process, and it's great to look back. Look at all these books I've got, and you know, all my workouts and everything. So from day one, it was I'm doing bodybuilding and I'm going to compete.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it do something for me. Well, I didn't know, like Mr Olympia, that's too far away, but I knew something good would come from it. That's all I knew.
Yeah, exactly. How many years was it from when you thought, right, this is what I want to do, to actually your first Mr Olympia title?
Well, Mr Olympia, the first one I went in was 91. I started in 83, so that's 8 years, yeah.
That's 8 years of thinking you want to. Did you think I want to be Mr Olympia, or would you just want to compete?
Came in stages, yeah.
So you wanted to compete?
Because I started bodybuilding, and within less than 2 years of me starting bodybuilding, I was probably the best heavyweight bodybuilder in the country.
That's amazing.
I didn't know it. I went to compete in a novice competition, and I blew everyone away, and all the judges are saying,
Who's this
who
guy?
the fuck are you, and where are you from? And like, you know, I'm from Birmingham, and why are you in this class? Why are you not in the heavyweights? I said, because no, I'm a novice and not good enough yet. And they're just like practically laughing at me, saying, well, you're the best guy we've got, and please come on the British team 2 weeks later in the World Games, which is the World Championship. So I went there and I got 7th out of 13 guys, but it was literally 2 weeks before was my first contest. So I knew at that point that I got something. How far it's going to go, I don't know. Of course, Mr Olympia is the ultimate dream for any bodybuilder. So I think in the back of my mind, yeah, maybe, but I was just like, let me get to be pro first, and then I'll think about that if it's, you know, if it's feasible. I want it to be realistic, because there's a lot that you put into it, a lot of sacrifice and everything. Yeah. So I want it to be realistic at each stage if this is worth it. And because I did that, and because I won a British Championship, I was able to get somebody to back me and open my own gym. So that's when I did start actually earning some money from bodybuilding. But that took me 4 years.
How old was you then?
25.
So 25 years old. That's when I turned professional as a professional boxer. But I had the amateur pedigree, had a bit of time out. But at 25, I turned pro. And then that's when it all changed for me, and that's when it started, and that's when you take in the diet and nutrition. And obviously with bodybuilding, steroids are legal, they're fine, because growth hormone, growth hormone was a game changer. We'll talk about that in a minute, but is that at 25 years old then when you thought, right, now I can really start to take this seriously and have a proper go at it?
Well, I got this, first time I competed I was 23, and that's when I got the reception from the British bodybuilding community, and I went to the World Games, which is a World Championship. So I knew then that I had a good future in bodybuilding, but how far I didn't know. Next year I won the British Championship, which got me the publicity and a financial backer for the gym, because I remember winning the British Championship. And there was coach loads of people from Birmingham there, there was cameras there, there was it was a big thing in Wembley Conference Centre. So I'm British champion, and I got this big trophy, and I go home to Castle Vale, which is a notorious council estate in Birmingham. And there's no TV cameras there's no newspapers, and I still don't have a car. I'm still catching the bus, right? I'm British champion.
Well, it's not a lucrative sport, is it? It never has been major lucrative. But when you look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who went on to then become actors, and because of the fame from being Mr Olympia,
it's a platform, and you can earn a good living if you're at the top of the pros, but as an amateur, you're just spending money, So British champion at 24. So I got a backer for the gym, an open temple gym in Birmingham, which then gave me a decent income. So now a little bit more comfortable, I got a car and everything, and a bit of a better apartment, moved with my girlfriend and my son together. So everything's a bit more stable at that point. And the next hurdle is in bodybuilding between the amateur ranks and the professionals. Yeah. Because a lot of people can get to be, British champion or German or American, whatever. They can be great in the amateurs, but then there's quite a big leap up to the
similar
to the
professional
pro level.
boxing. Not every ABA champion or national champion or even Olympic medalist would
Yeah.
go on and become a top professional.
No, it's another level, and so I wanted to be honest with myself because I'm giving everything. I mean, live, train, eat, sleep, breathe, bodybuilding, right? And I've got a young son and your family, and of course they lose a bit of time and all that stuff with you. And then you've got the steroid part of it, yeah? So, I mean, we can talk about that a lot maybe later, but let's accept there's some health risks there, potentially.
Well, in fact, I wouldn't mind jumping straight into that because you give me a nice background there, and then you're in now and you want to turn professional, you want to make a go of it and be a professional weightlifter. Do you have to sort of indulge in that side of it? Do you have to take because you can start off on some steroids that you consider to be quite weak and quite mild that people get prescribed at doctors, and then your next level, when you level up, if you like, you're onto the growth hormone. But where did it start for you? Where was you first introduced? As in, what was the first one you took?
The first competition I did, which was the novice competition, where they told me, hey, you're probably like the best heavyweight we got in the country. I just took in preparation for that contest. So up until that point, it was natural before the contest. And it was like 3 months and very, very little, like 20 milligrams Anabol, 20 milligrams of Dynabol, either or.
I know, Dianabol.
Yeah, good old Dynabol is the first thing I ever tried, you know. 20 milligrams, very low dose, but if you haven't taken anything before, it's quite dramatic the first time. So it went from that, and then you know, more injectables and so on. But as an amateur, I'd say the doses were fairly, and definitely compared to now, very moderate.
Yeah.
And then I'm turning pro, so I'm going to go to compete as a pro. For those that don't understand, you can't. It's like any sport. You got to go through the ranks. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to go." So you got to be a national champion overall. So I was an overall British champion. That meant I was the best in the country at that point. That gives you pro status, and then you're going to go to another level. And at that point, 1990, really it was just a US-based sport.
Right,
you know, all the good bodybuilders were in the US, all the big contests, everything, all the magazines, everything was in the US. So you got to go there. So I actually kind of made a deal with myself. I said, look, if I look at the history of bodybuilding and see the people that were successful, outstandingly successful and really made it, they were outstanding initially from the start. It's not like they came into a pro contest and they got a 10th place and then the next year suddenly they're Mr Olympia.
Yeah, that was good.
You've either kind of got it or you haven't to a degree, right? So I wanted to be very honest with myself and say, look, I've got a family, I've got a gym that's making a decent income. I could open more gyms and make more money and everything. So there's other options here other than just pursuing professional bodybuilding, which means that I won't have the focus to do those things. It's one or the other, And in order to continue a pro bodybuilding career, we're talking about more years of taking steroids, potentially more, and so on. So I said to myself, if I don't get in the top 3 of this contest, the first one, then I don't have what it takes, because historically that would be correct, so I put myself under that pressure, and I got second in my first pro contest, and it was very close second. I got flown out from New York, where it was held, to California, where the magazines were, the bodybuilding magazines. Joe Weider, that was the empire of bodybuilding, and he flew me out there to be photographed and put in his magazines. And this is like, you've made it at this point if you get that. Like he knows who's, you know. And he saw something in me because I was totally different. He tried to mold me a bit, but it didn't work. But in the end, it worked because I represented probably better the majority of people that were going to the gym than, let's say, Arnold or any of those guys that were standing on the beach with the pretty girl.
Who was your big competitors at that time? You mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger there.
No, Arnold was finished in the 70s, So was Lee Haney was the current Mr Olympia, and that was the first. A little bit later
Actually, I watched a clip where you had a bit of beef with Lee Haney on stage. Not beef, but you was being a bit like...
it was a bit of a misunderstanding.
Somebody got into your head. Was it your trainer, your coach?
Yeah, it was. So I got into the States and compete there, but I didn't know many people, And I knew this guy from New York, which was one of my first contacts there, So at the point where I got second in my first pro show, then the next year I won it, And now, you know, I'm going to the Mr Olympia, and Haney's the reigning champion. And nobody's really challenged him because nobody was of his stature and size and everything, whereas I was.
Yeah.
So people will start to say, hey, here's a guy that could possibly challenge him for the title,
Yeah.
And I started to believe, like, well, why not? You know, I started to believe in myself. Because this is a guy that's been Mr Olympia since I started. So obviously I was a fan initially, but you've got to, like, you know, it's like yourself. No good going to box a guy in a ring if, you know, you're like, he's your hero and everything. You're going to no chance, are you? You know,
no, exactly,
it's the wrong mindset. Not that we're going to hit each other on stage, but, you know, still psychologically, you've got to be in the right place. That's what I'm saying. Yeah?
Well, my first world title defence was against a guy called Jermaine Taylor. I just beaten Pascal for the WBC title. Then I went over to America, and I'm looking at Jermaine Taylor thinking, I can remember watching him. There's not much age gap, but I came into boxing late, but he was former undisputed middleweight champ. He beat Bernard Hopkins twice, and I'm looking at him thinking, this guy is really, really good, fast and skillful. For fuck's sake, I'm fighting him. But then I've got to get to in my mind space, I've got to say, I can beat this kid, I can beat him. And you've got to start believing, even though I didn't believe it, I convinced myself, actually, why not? Why can't I beat him? And,
exactly. You've got to believe it, otherwise it's not.
But when
possible,
you was up against Haney, did you thinking I'm coming to win this? Because
no,
when you got
by the time I got there, I was going to win this, and I was young, and I was 29 and jacked up and ambitious and a little bit aggressive and everything. And this guy was telling me, like, oh, so you're competing against Haney now, are you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you got to watch him, you know, he's a bully. I said, what do you mean he's a bully? No, he'll try to, like, just, you know, just try to bully and dominate you on stage. He'll bump into you or tread on your toe or something like that. He's always doing it, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time it's total bollocks. Yeah, he's a lovely gentleman, but
he might have done it a couple of times. Bit of gamemanship. I can kind of see that with top athletes.
Yeah,
so
but anyway, so we got to the contest and they call us out, which is unusual. It's usually 3 on a call out, but it's obviously a 2-man show here, so they've called us out and we walk out together. So we walk him that way and he gave me a big smile and I just gave him nothing. I just looked at him because I thought, I'm not playing games here.
I'm not getting bullied. So you became the bully.
Yeah. So I thought, I'll preempt it. So I just kind of like banged into him a couple of times quite hard with my elbow.
A couple of elbow nudges.
Yeah, just like not that anyone could see it too much, but he knew it. And then later on, of course, later on in the contest, we're on stage and he like does this pose. And we're all there, and he kind of reaches back a little bit, and his knuckles cracked me on the head a little bit. So obviously, he got his own back. Yeah,
give you a bit back.
We have a laugh about it now.
Did you win that tournament?
No, I got second, and he got first. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was my first Mr Olympia, where I got second.
Olympia. Right. Okay.
And then from there, it was 6 firsts after that.
And we talked about the nutrition, if you like, and the steroids beforehand, and the Dianabol. At what point did then you say, right, I need to go on growth hormone here? Because does size matter? Obviously, size does matter, but it's the shape. But without the growth hormone, you can't get them kind of gains. It's like...
Well, I'd say, I mean, you can look at the physiques, if you want to go back historically.
70s.
I mean, you look at the 70s, but as far as growth hormone coming in as competitors using it, I would say probably around the mid-80s.
Yeah. But if you look at Arnie, early 70s or 70s, he's lean, he's big, he's strong.
He hasn't got the size per the, and then, you know, because he's quite tall, he's 6'2" or something.
5 years later, all of a sudden he's jacked, he's bulked, he's looking...
Well, growth hormone wasn't around when Arnold was competing, so those guys were just using regular steroids and testosterone.
Oh, really?
It probably didn't come into use. Synthetic growth hormone didn't come into use till mid-80s.
So Arnie wasn't on the growth hormone. When he was looking, so that would have been the other stuff. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, just basic steroids.
But people that are ignorant think you take steroids, you look good. They forget the dedication, the commitment, the time in the gym. I mean,
it's a tool, right? You're going to be able to recover from your training better. You're going to get a greater response from your training, yes, but it's somewhat temporary. Yeah. I mean, you can find pictures of Arnold in the 70s when he was not preparing for Mr Olympia, and it's like 30 pounds down. So it's a somewhat temporary situation, and like, if you're a friend of mine or something you asked, I would say, like, look, unless you're like, you know, you're getting on late 30s, 40s, and your blood test shows that your testosterone is in a low range, great, replace it, because you'll feel better and you'll be healthier. But otherwise, I wouldn't advise people to do it just for, like, basically what I see a lot of people doing now, they're just doing it for cosmetic reasons, because they can get bigger quicker and they look good on the beach, and they have no intention of competing.
I might start having a glass of that in my 50s. I might have
a little testosterone.
Bit of test won't it, will it?
If you're deficient, if you have a testosterone check on your blood. And your free testosterone is in the upper third of a good, leave it alone, yeah? But if it's low down and age-related, and it won't come back, it won't come back. It's like,
I know a lot of
women have had hormone replacement for decades, but yet men's replacement is somewhat frowned upon. But it's, you know, you'll live a happier, healthier life with a optimized testosterone level, whether it's natural or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know quite a few people. My older brother, for example, he won't mind me saying, he supplements, and he's got the little vials, and he just puts the right amount in, probably once or twice a week, I think. I'm not sure, but when I get into my 50s, if I start to lose weight and lose muscle mass, I know that there's an alternative or a supplement that you can take.
Yeah, just putting your hormones back in the right place, not
makes you feel better.
You know, not over the normal level, and then you'll be, you know, you'll be functional for longer.
But I'm not jacked yet, and I'm still a machine.
Yeah, well, we'll find out about that next week, mate, when we go to the gym.
We're having a little training session. We are in the gym. What we're doing? Bit of bench press. Actually,
no.
My stepdad Steve was the one that got me in contact through a lady. Is it Paula?
Paula Birkinshaw. She was another. When I was pro, she was the best female in England. Yeah, easily.
My dad met her somewhere. I don't know where it was. My stepdad met her. I don't know where it was.
Mate.
And then she put him in touch with you and got your number. And this is why. So thank you very much, Big Steve, my stepdad.
And Paula.
And Paula, yeah, absolutely.
Things are meant to happen, they happen, you know. Well, they find their way.
Definitely. So I don't want you to go fully into it, because like my training camp for boxing was almost between a 10 and 12 week camp. I do a couple of weeks on my own, then go and see Robert McCracken up in Sheffield towards the end of my career. We trained in London early doors, a bit in Nottingham. But I was fixed in Sheffield towards the end at the EIS in Sheffield, where all Team GB, the amateurs, train. Anthony Joshua was there as well, and a few of the other people that went on to do things as a professional. But it was pretty much a 10-week camp.
Yeah.
What does a camp look like on the build-up to a Mr Olympia? Is it a time frame?
Yeah.
Is it 6 days a week?
We wouldn't call it a camp. We'd call it prep, like competition prep. So you may go somewhere else, but normally guys just train, you know, where they normally train.
But you're in shape all year round?
No, definitely not. I mean, you
must be in some kind of good...
Yeah, you'd be in decent shape, but you need a period of the year, the majority of the year in bodybuilding, to make some visible change in the physique. And as you get more advanced, this is, you know, diminishing returns, right?
I understand you've got to totally cut out all your fats, and you've got zero body fat almost, so you can show the muscle definition. I don't expect you to be walking around like that, but are you still in the gym when you're not in the camp for Mr Olympia, still pumping iron?
I mean, it's not like boxing where you're peaking your skills, I guess, for a contest. Yeah. The majority of the bodybuilding, let's say, like if you compete once a year, 9 months of the year will be working on building, and you need that period of time to make any significant change in your muscle size, which is what will change your appearance. So in order to do that, you need to be training heavy, you need to be eating sufficient calories and not getting out of shape and getting fat, but you can't keep like near to contest shape. That's not sustainable for any period of time.
No, do you feel weak and tired?
You'd feel weak. Getting towards the contest, you get weak, you get more vulnerable to injury. I mean, you're basically asking for two conflicting goals. When you get ready for a contest, maybe 3 months, you're slowly reducing your body fat. You can't do it too quick, because if you lose weight too quick, you lose muscle. So two contradictory goals, muscle mass and reduce body fat is like two contradictory things to do. So that's an art to keep the muscle and lose the body fat and get to the competition.
So what do you need before competition then? 6, 8 weeks of really hammering it, cutting down?
12 weeks, 14 weeks.
And then the last week, are you starving, like boxers? Like professional boxers, because they're starved to death.
I mean, you're hungry all the time, even though I was eating quite a lot. I probably ate more on a contest diet than I eat now, but I was
actually, when I say starving carbs and starving...
I was hungry all the time, and trouble sleeping. Because you're not eating, your blood sugar drops in the night, and you wake up, craving, so your sleep's broken, you're thinking about food all the time. I mean, bodybuilding in the gym, eating a lot of food and training heavy in the gym, for me, that's just fun,
Yeah, good fun.
But this, getting ready for a contest and getting into this kind of condition, this takes like some mental tenacity, because everything's telling you to like eat more, and you got to train, you got to do more cardio as a bodybuilder, you got to do more cardio and still do your weights. So I would get through my workouts just on sheer will, and then the rest of the day I'd just be like a zombie pretty much the last 4 to 6 weeks.
And just for those who don't know, that don't follow the bodybuilding, because obviously it had its heyday, didn't it, in the 80s? Would you say the 80s and 90s?
I mean, like, gyms are much more popular now. The fitness industry, that they call it, is massive with the online thing and all that stuff. But if we're talking pure bodybuilding, as in, if you think back to the 90s, it's like every guy that went to the gym wanted to be a bodybuilder. That was like, it was huge.
So would you say 90s was the big?
I think 90s for bodybuilding, pure bodybuilding, it was bigger then. Now the gym industry and fitness industry is massive. Like many more people go to the gym and do all different kinds of things, but I think less people actually do bodybuilding, to be honest.
So I was about to say, for those who don't know and don't understand the bodybuilding world, to be a 6 times Mr Olympia, it's like winning the Premier League 6 times or becoming a 6-time world boxing champion. It's literally that. It's
interesting,
that good. It's
interesting
that good.
story about the Mr Olympia.
Just, can I just say, this is a proper G. I just want to say that. Can I just,
What's up, man?
This is a proper top G, by the way. But anyway, go on. You carry on.
What was I saying?
And he's got a bifter bigger than my head.
Yeah. Better like that, I might remember what I'm saying, what I'm talking about.
And I might have to have a little toke on it as well. So yeah, obviously this is a boxing channel, Froch on Fighting. Don't know if you know, but I once boxed in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium.
Massive, mate. Yeah, of course I know.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, I'm a follower of boxing and MMA as well. So yeah, respect, man.
So what's for you? What's better for you in terms of watching MMA, boxing? I'm starting to get into MMA now. I'm enjoying it. And I like the fact that everyone fights each other and no one's ducking anybody.
If I have to choose, I would say I like MMA better because it's more exciting. And I watched it from the start. Like I was in New York and it was a friend's place, and on TV came this UFC thing. I never even knew what it was. Like, but I remember before that, people always used to debate. Yeah, because when I was a kid, I did karate, and my mate did kung fu, and another one did boxing, and we were all like, nah. Bruce Lee would kick Muhammad Ali's ass and fly through the air and kick him. And all that stuff. So here's a chance, isn't it, to see. It wasn't mixed martial arts at that point, was it? It was just singular martial arts. And the guy that came out on top of all of it was some funny thing called jiu-jitsu from Brazil that I'd never heard about it. And so I was a big fan of that. But if there's a good boxing match, I'll definitely, I'm definitely watching.
Yeah, absolutely. What was have you any lasting memories or any names jump out you? Any of your favourite fighters, like any top heavyweights or any middleweights, super middleweights? For me, it was the Fabulous Four in the sort of 80s with Muhammad Ali, not Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns.
I remember all those guys, but I remember the British guys as well.
Yeah.
Eubanks and
Nigel
Benn and those
Steve
wars
Collins,
and all that. I remember all those. I went to see Eubanks. He fought in Birmingham against Sonny Boy, something from South Africa. So I watched that fight.
Sugar Boy Malinga, probably.
Yeah, that's the guy. It's just it was a bit unique, that guy, the way he moved.
Chris Eubank got the deal, didn't he, with TV? Like, it was on ITV, it was on mainstream television when we only had 3 or 4 channels.
Yeah, that was it. His fights were massive in England. They were massive then.
Yeah, he got between 10 and 14 million people watching, and we don't get that now.
And of course, Nassim Hamed as well.
Well, Prince Nassim Hamed was the guy that got me back into boxing. And when I say the guy that got me back into it, watching him and watching him perform and his big uppercuts and his nonchalant style.
We need to go get him back in the gym, don't we?
Yeah, I think he's wider than he is tall now, isn't he, bless him? No, he likes pie, chips and peas, I know that much. But no, he just, you know what, he's always smiling, he's always laughing, but he has put some timber on.
Yeah, but listen, Nassim, massive respect, mate, if you're listening.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. Come in the gym with us anytime, mate, it'd be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, Naz was the guy that got me back into boxing, and it was the inspiration from him. Somersault in the top rope, knocking people out of the
amazing, mate. Just from mad angles and balance and stuff.
So it's almost like the same sort of era, even though what are you now, 62? So imagine saying that, you're only 5 years older than me. But the Eubank, Ben, Nassim Hamed, I suppose Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson.
I saw Lennox Lewis fight in Cardiff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember who was fighting.
Was it been Frank Bruno?
Maybe Bruno, yeah.
Could have been. If it was.
And I saw, I didn't see Mike Tyson fight in Glasgow. I was there, but my back was turned. And it was like 20 seconds knockout, man. I didn't even see it. Yeah?
He used to do that quite a lot, didn't he, Mike Tyson?
Yeah, we were up in this box here. Somebody had one of these boxes, champagne, the lot and all that. Yeah. And what? Hey, that's it.
And then you missed it.
Yeah, went all the way from Birmingham to Glasgow for that.
He was a one-round destroyer, he was.
Yeah, I mean, the machine, mate.
So here we are at Cannabliss. in Marbella.
Yes, sir.
Not too far from me, about 20 minutes from Porto Banús.
Yeah, we're in Alveria.
Alveria. So it's almost southern tip of Spain. Well, it is a southern tip of Spain, Marbella.
Costa del Sol.
Costa del Sol.
Coast of the Sun.
Took a bit of time to find, sort of in the middle of nowhere. But this place for you, and you've had a bit of a spiritual journey in the last, I don't know, how long would you say? 5 years? 10 years?
Well, your whole life is a spiritual journey.
Absolutely. But when did you become sort of more
consciously,
spiritual?
like, you know, questioning everything and being on that journey consciously. I mean, probably more since when I retired from bodybuilding, and it was it's like a big crisis. You know, normally that's when you have some kind of a breakthrough or spiritual wise, when everything falls apart in your life, and was the point for me where a lot of things happened at the same time that was very traumatic, and I think that set me on the path of questioning what life's about, basically, if you want to put it that way. Well, you know, who am I? What am I? Because I was Mr Olympia and that was my identity. Now I'm like, who am I? And
how long have you been smoking weed?
I smoked weed when I was like 16, 17.
So you've always been on that kind of level where
Yeah, I mean, but I smoked it, mixed it with tobacco, drinking alcohol. At one point we were sniffing glue, all kind of stuff, That's what we were doing when we were teenagers and hanging out, skinheads and punks and everything like that. But I liked it. I liked it, But then when I did bodybuilding, I thought bodybuilding is a healthy pursuit, and drinking and smoking, whatever it is not. So I won't do that, But I still had some connection to it. Like all the people around me were into it. I'm from Birmingham, so it's like, you know, it's everywhere. And if there was an occasion, a birthday or something, a get together, whatever, I'd smoke weed, and like the people around me were smoking weed, and I could smoke weed and go and train the next day, and there wasn't any consequences. But still, I don't want to smoke too much because it might make me lazy or whatever, you know, these thoughts that we have. And I want to be on top, I want to be aggressive and all that stuff. So it was around, but it was more like when I stopped competing, I started smoking more. And then I met a lady in Amsterdam that had a big cannabis cafe there, and I started hanging out there and reading a lot. There was no internet then, but I was starting to access a lot of books and stuff just because there was a store next door with us. Started reading about it and learning about the plant and all the huge benefits that I didn't really know about. For me, it was just a recreational thing, and that's it. So that's my relationship with cannabis has gone from there, from learning about it and learning how it can be a medicine and a tool and an aid for many people. Like
nobody can really
club, you know.
Nobody can really argue now with the health benefits of cannabis and the cannabinoids, and because CBD now is legalised. It's on most shelves, Boots, Holland and Barrett. There's a company called Brains Bioceutical that I've done a bit of work with that offer prescription grade cannabis, but a lot of it's not got THC. The THC content's been taken out for the stuff that's on the shelves, but you can get prescribed cannabis with THC. So it's kind of now accepted that it's not a harmful drug. It's got so many health benefits, and I think you know the same reason as me. You'll agree with what I'm about to say. The reason it's not on, well, it is prescribed now by doctors, but it's not been for so many years because people can't put a trademark on it. They can't patent the drug because it's God given.
It's not. Now the pharmaceutical companies, you know, they're a business, right?
Yeah,
and they run on profit and dividends for the shareholders. So everything they do must give maximum profit. It's not about what's best for the patient. That's not in the equation. It's just the way it is. Right?
Yeah. But cannabis is broken through now, and it's starting to. I mean, in loads of states of America, it's legalized.
Yeah, it's legalized. When I first started going to America, it was just in California where you had to be a medical patient, although that wasn't really difficult because there's so many applications. Whatever ailment you have, basically cannabis can help with it. So, but you needed a license with your picture on and everything.
Well, last time I was in New York, last month, a couple of months ago, there was shops like, it's like being in Amsterdam. I didn't realise.
Many places now. And it's good in a way because now it's regulated, like everything else. So it has to be regulated. The products have to have the breakdown of what's in there, the cannabinoid balance, and if they have any pesticide, all this stuff. So slowly it's happening. And we're here in Spain. In Spain, the law changed a few years ago where you can grow and consume in your own private residence.
Yeah.
So that's legal. And then social clubs kind of built around that.
Like this club?
Yeah, it's a membership club.
So this is a membership club.
It's a membership club.
Cannabis, in case you can't read.
Well, people can come and
there's rooms upstairs that are fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm actually going to put
upstairs.
I'm actually going to put a link into this because there's a B&B upstairs. And
so we've got the club downstairs with all the different cannabis products. We've got great food here. We've got nice facilities with the pool and everything. I can vouch for the food.
So bit of jerk chicken, rice and pea yesterday.
Healthy food, good like-minded people, very interesting conversations and so on. So it's our little private sanctuary up here in the hills where we come and you just come and hang out and do your thing, and we want to change the image, not change it, but like let people know that the stereotypical image that they have can be true. Every stereotype is true sometimes, right? But the people here is an older crowd, and they're usually quite successful people with their own business. A lot of people from the gym, a lot of martial arts guys here. Wide cross section of people into real estate and so on. So we're not kids. We're not sitting around playing games. You can. There's a games room in the back if you want. But generally, there's a wide cross section of people, and they all benefit from having cannabis in their life in some way or another.
Absolutely. And when you look at even the medical grade cannabis, when I say earlier, it's been proven that it's not even up for debate anymore. It's ridiculous to try and debate as to whether or not cannabis is healthy or not. But even down to children having epileptic fits now, some of them have 100 seizures a day. I mean, I don't know how they can cope with that and how that's even physically possible to do that, and muscular and vascular.
And Parkinson's as well.
And Parkinson's, but they now can take medical grade cannabis and not have any fits at all. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's a wonder drug.
And, you can build endless different strains. Like they have some strains with no THC in for the kids. I think.
Well, now they're running trials for it. They're finding out more and more and more. And
there's a lot of evidence, and I have first-hand practical knowledge of people that I know. There's a lot of evidence with THC specifically, THC,
absolutely,
killing cancer cells and fighting cancer. Yeah. And I've had friends that they've cured their own cancer with cannabis. Of course, you're not supposed to say that, like it's illegal to say that because you threaten people's profits. But word of mouth. We all know somebody that's been helped by it. We all, people here, we all have friends who's been helped by it.
Absolutely.
It's not an exact science because nobody has that much money to really look into. These companies are not interested, so they're not going to invest money. So it's up to us really to kind of build our own community and find out the best way to use it, what are the best strains or the best balance of cannabinoids for different ailments and so on. So I'm very interested in that.
Would you say
future.
That? Absolutely, me too, because it's opening up and it's becoming more and more widely used, and the knowledge is growing.
And we can treat ourselves. I mean, you can grow this plant, You can grow it. We can help ourselves. That's what we're all about here. Trying to be independent thinking and independent living as much as we can.
How did cannabis, was that the start of the journey for you to then become a little bit more spiritual? Because obviously you've then got psilocybin and mushrooms, magic mushrooms for people who don't understand what that is, and then even deeper ayahuasca, which is DMT, dimethyl, is it tryptamine? And
dimethyltryptamine,
Tryptamine, and that's the chemical for those who don't know. If you look it up on Google, you'll see DMT, and that's the chemical that your liver actually releases before you die.
That was one of the books that I read way back when I was spending a lot of time in Amsterdam. It was called DMT, the spirit molecule.
Have you done DMT?
Yeah.
How many times?
I've done DMT several times, and then I've done ayahuasca.
Told you was a top G. DMT, you know what?
More than 20-something ayahuasca ceremonies.
Really?
Yeah, and I've done DMT
And did you find it really helped you, or did it change your perspective? Did it do anything?
I mean, DMT's in ayahuasca, but there's other chemical in there as well that kind of makes it last longer.
Yeah.
If you get DMT, just like the pure DMT powder, and you vaporize it or something, then it's like, if you take enough, I mean, you're like just, it's only about 10, 15 minutes on average.
10, 15 minute journey.
But, I mean, you have no concept of time during those 10 or 15 minutes, so it could be 10 million years. Who knows?
There's different ways to do it. You can smoke it and have a 10-minute trip, but you can mash up the vines off the actual plant, brew it, drink it.
Well, that's ayahuasca, but the DMT has been extracted from the plant.
That's a longer...
Ayahuasca takes hours, yeah, and it's kind of deep, and you probably purge as well, so you usually throw up and sweat and
but
all kind of stuff.
There's a lot of cases and evidence people have cured, like we talked about cancer, mental illnesses, addictions. They've come through the other side after a DMT ceremony, if you like.
Yeah, well, if you think really, ultimately your mind controls everything, yeah? So if you have a disease, it means that you have this balance in your mind.
Your body's at dis-ease.
If your mind can be rebalanced by a ceremony, then the physical is also going to change because it's like a reflection.
Yeah.
So I should imagine that's how it works. But who cares about the process if it works? So DMT is very short and very intense, like you feel like you're in a different place. So I've done I've done DMT, LSD, psilocybin, ayahuasca. Last time I did ayahuasca was 2019. And I see them as tools that I used along the way, but perhaps I don't need them anymore. You know, maybe I've learned what I need to learn from those processes, and it's been a lot, and there's been a lot of stuff came up that I didn't know was affecting me, and it came out, and I just feel like very balanced now, and ultimately, like we can do everything ourselves without the aids eventually. Yeah. So, but it's been very valuable part of my journey, and I'm not saying I wouldn't go and do another ceremony maybe sometime in the future again, but right now is...
At the minute you don't feel you need to?
No, at the minute, not right now, yeah.
Right, so every time I interview someone, I like to do 12 rounds, obviously 12 rounds of boxing. So this is 12 rounds with Dorian Yates.
I'm glad it's just questions and not boxing, mate.
Back day or leg day?
Ooh.
I hate leg day, but you have to do it.
Yeah, but I love it and I hate it and I love it and I hate it. So
you could say chest and arms or back. I mean,
forget all that, yeah. No, let's just go legs day because...
Legs day?
Yeah, let's just do it, man.
Surely not. Surely you won't just pick leg day.
Let's just do leg
Surely
day.
Surely just go chest
like,
and arms.
Why are we in there, yeah? Why are we in the gym? We're in the gym to challenge ourselves mentally and physically, yeah?
That is a man with good work ethic.
I love it, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. You've got to challenge yourself, right? You're not supposed to be comfortable all the time. You've got to fucking challenge yourself. And that's what's wrong with men these days in society. It's all too fucking easy, yeah? And they're soft. So you need to do that sometimes. You know, you need to push yourself
Absolutely.
sometimes.
I always do my legs once a week at least. And when I say legs, that's doing
squats. Is that what we're
squats.
going to train when you come to train with me?
You know what?
Good decision, I see. He's made a decision that he's going to train legs with me. I like that. I like the way you think, man.
Would you consider deadlifting to be legs?
I mean, it involves the legs, yeah, but whether it's on leg day, it depends how you do it, because there's different deadlifts.
If you do leg day, innit?
Squat is a leg day, leg press, leg extension, hack squat, any kind of squatting movement, yeah, that's leg day.
Actually, on a serious note, when we do go to the gym, I'd like you to look at my technique on my deadlifting, because I was up to 170, and bearing in mind I only weigh 90 kilograms, 170 is not bad for a nearly 50.
Yeah, but why are you doing that, man?
I don't know, I just want to, it makes me bulk a little bit, it makes me feel strong, I feel better for it, but then my back goes, and then my back's gone, and I'm
That's why I just asked you why you're doing it, because it's risk. Too risky, mate, for what you need. Like, we'll go to the gym, we'll have a good chat. You tell me what you want, your body, what do you want to do with your body? What do you want it for?
Just stay around 14 stone, stay bulked, because as I'm getting older, I feel my muscle mass.
You realise if you get an injury in your back, then it's going to mess everything up. So
exactly.
why risk it?
I found it out.
Why risk, mate? You're not. It's like maybe.
Because I always thought I could do it without injuring
when
myself.
you're in competition, there's always going to be some degree of risk, But right now you don't need that, mate. You need to like build and maintain your body, and don't get any injuries.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Really.
So would you just say no to deadlift? Full stop. Done. Not even lighter. Just leave it.
I would just think there's better things to do and safer.
So what was your answer? Leg day?
Leg day, yeah.
Beast. Wouldn't have expected
Get
anything
in there,
else.
yeah.
Right, most valuable lesson you learnt in life. Could be a tough one. Most valuable lesson.
You'll have to give me a minute to think about that.
While you're thinking,
I'm just going to say the first thing that comes to my mind. So, to be flexible.
To be flexible, yeah?
Yeah.
Flexible with your day-to-day tasks or flexible with your body?
Flexible with your mind, flexible with your beliefs, flexible with with everything, you know, because you never know everything, yeah? You never will. No. So what you think now might not be correct, and you always got to be like open to that possibility. Yeah. Otherwise, you can't learn anything. Yeah? Yeah. It's difficult to learn. Like we all have these rigid beliefs, and my idea is to try to let go of those and just see what is real, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and flexible like I would be more flexible in my training approach, because I had a great approach and a great work ethic, but it wasn't flexible. I was not listening to my body. My body was giving me signals. I was like, fuck you. Yeah. You're going to do I'm the boss here. You're going to do what I tell you to do.
I think a lot of high-level athletes do that.
Yeah, of course. It's like mastery over yourself, but at some point, you're running into a wall, and it's not good for you. You know, so at some point you need to learn to go around the wall. So probably on my journey, that's been a valuable lesson, yeah, to be flexible.
Cool. It's supposed to be quick fire, but I'm enjoying the answers. If you could invite 3 people for dinner, dead or alive, who would it be?
Bob Marley, Adolf Hitler, and Jesus Christ.
What makes you happy? A good fat reefer.
What makes me happy? Ultimately, me.
You make you happy.
Well, who else is going to do it?
Well, there you go. That's it. And how do you make you happy? Elaborate on the question.
It's a state of mind, really, isn't it? Everything is a state of mind, and you're to realise and exercise your power of thought and manifestation and belief that you can live the life that you want to live. And that's what I believed when I was in a council flat in Birmingham with no car and no money, and here I am now.
Fair play. What annoys you?
I try not to let things annoy me, because
yeah, I get that.
What is it about that thing or that person or that situation that's annoying me is the more relevant thing to focus on, really. That's what I try to do. Not perfect, but I'm working on that. Instead of just reacting, sometimes I still do it, but afterwards I think, why did I react like that, you know? Sometimes I still lose my temper with people, because, you know, but why? What was it about the situation? At least afterwards I can analyse it, and it doesn't happen very often.
You strike me with a guy that don't get annoyed that often and don't tend to let things get to you, but that's part of the spiritual journey, I think. Have you got a hidden talent that nobody would know about? Like, I can play the guitar a little bit.
I wish I could, but I don't know. I got. No, it's not really hidden talent, but it's something I had since I was young. I've got like an ability to like store information obsessively if I'm interested in the subject.
Oh, really?
But if I'm not.
Is that like a photographic memory?
No, I don't know. It was like when I was a kid, like I could tell you anything about British birds. I could tell you what they measured, what their eggs looked like, how many eggs, what time of year, what the nest's made out of. Like anything, I could have told you anything. So that was useful, like when I wanted to study bodybuilding and nutrition, and like I had a whole like, I didn't even need to look in the nutritional book at some point, because I know exactly how many calories, how many everything's on the plate by just looking at it.
That's a fantastic talent, and useful for you for your.
It was useful for that, yeah.
So, you never will be, but if you were on death row, what would your last meal be? Because you get a last meal, don't you?
I know, but I never saw the point of that. I don't know if I'd be fucking thinking about eating. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, look, can I try that fucking burger or whatever these idiots normally have, yeah? Just give me a load of weed or something, yeah? I'll have that, yeah?
A chocolate brownie full of cannabis.
Exactly, mate, I'd be tripping, yeah?
A chocolate brownie full of cannabis.
I would just be transitioning before I am transitioning, you know, I'll be halfway there.
You got any favourite foods? Like, what's your go-to meal? I like a nice bit of steak now.
Listen,
organic
honestly,
grass-fed steak.
like, bingo, that's it, yeah.
Nice piece of steak. Is there a particular one? Sirloin, ribeye?
No, I go to butchers here, and I go to all the steak restaurants, so I know. But the one I get from the butchers, and sometimes I bring it here and we put it on the barbecue. That's a grass-fed ribeye.
Ribeye. You know what? I've moved from sirloin.
The fat in there tastes like you just know it's good. Yeah.
It melts down a little bit.
You're in a caveman knows this is good.
Yeah. Listen, I've just moved on from sirloin as my favourite steak from my butchers in Nottingham, Tuxfords, to now ribeye. Ribeye is just so flavoursome.
Yeah, I mean, you need fat, you know, that's nice. A big, huge scam that's destroyed people's health for like 30, 40 years, thinking they have to go low fat and end up eating more carbs and more sugar, and we see the outcome now.
And when I put on this channel, when I said the other day, I put a social clip out, I chucked a steak on a barbecue and I went red meat, animal-based diet, 6 eggs this morning, now I'm on the steak. The amount of people and saying, oh, you'll end up with this illness, that's bad for you, high cholesterol. I'm like, so ill-informed, it's such a...
Well, you see, your brain is just an organic computer, yeah? That's what it is. And with information, data, which has been put in there by whoever. And a lot of people just have false information, and the new information is available, but they don't have it. Yeah? So, and a lot of people are emotional and resistant about their programs. You show them something else, and you're upsetting them, see, because of the programs. So that's what I'm talking about by being conscious about why are you reacting, why are you getting upset, what is it about me that I can learn from the situation. So if you're reacting to Carl putting a steak on a grill, getting all upset, why is that?
Why is that? Problems within yourself, I think it's far easier to brainwash people, especially through the power of television and mainstream media, than what it is to convince somebody they've been brainwashed. So to try and change somebody's mind on their thought process or where they've been for years, it's very difficult to do.
It's very traumatic, you see. If you have believed something all your life and you have real belief and emotional energy invested in this whole thing, and then somebody's coming along and telling you that ain't right, that ain't true. It's like disturbing for people. They don't like it, and you're rattling their cage and making them feel uncomfortable. And it's up to them how they react to that. I mean, I don't go around telling people anything unless we're in a conversation and I feel that it's useful or appropriate, that they might be open to something new, and then I'll say it.
A good example of that could be lighting up a spliff. And some people who don't understand, or they're ignorant, or they just think, oh, drugs.
Well, it happens to me all the time. I mean, because I'm very open about cannabis, just because I like to be open about it, and don't see why we shouldn't be.
No.
Like, nobody's really feeling shy about holding up a glass of wine or something.
Well, neurotoxins far more powerfully dangerous than cannabis.
Exactly. You know, you can search online, right? If you want to go to Google, search cannabis patent, US. I don't have the number here right now, but it'll probably come up with a Google search. There's a patent on cannabis for its antioxidant and neuroprotective properties. So you got one that's neuroprotectant and another one that's neurotoxic. But if you hold up the wine, you probably get less pushback just because it's more socially acceptable, and people don't understand because they've got the wrong information. So that's why we talk. We try to get out different information, and then you can go check it up if you want, and then maybe you need to consider that the information you had previously was not correct.
Absolutely.
And once you knock one of those skittles down, you might want to look at a lot of other beliefs you have, because they're probably all incorrect. Most of the things that people believe are incorrect because we've been given the wrong information for a long time.
For a very specific reason.
It's always a reason. Who benefits is the question. You know, if you want to control people, you need to have them limited in their information.
Well, I was just about to say control, and that's the dominant reason for a lot of things that we're fed. But we don't want to go too deep.
No, we can do that another time.
Even though the cannabis is flowing. Right.
Yeah, listen, we're talking, and if people like what we're talking about, we can always go into it deeper. Go as deep as you want, mate. There's layers to everything.
Do you believe in ghosts?
There's everything's frequency. That's the way I see it. Everything's frequency. So sometimes you get like you're listening to, I don't know, Radio 1, right? And you go through a little. You get another radio. They get a crossover in the frequency, right? So that's what I see with that.
All of a sudden, your ears.
Everything's there. Everything's here. in the same space, but we can't see it. I don't know how many radio stations could we tune into
Right now,
sitting on this table, yeah?
EMFs.
Like loads, yeah? So you can't see them though,
No,
but they're
even-
all here, yeah?
even
So
Wi-Fi.
everything's here, the future, the past, the now, everything. It's all one thing. Everything's all one thing, yeah? So you can see a bit of tuning into, you know, a frequency. It probably comes a little bit, you see it and it goes. It's just a crossover of frequencies and times or something like that. That's the way I see it. So I guess the quick answer would have been yes, but I had to specify what I was
But then
saying.
you're trying
yes
to, but then if I said what is a ghost, then you're
Yeah,
explaining
yeah.
the frequencies. But no, that's interesting. Was there anything you hated about bodybuilding?
I'm just trying not to hate things, but yeah, shaving
Yeah.
and putting that fucking tanning lotion shit on. Which you got to do like 2 days before the contest, like a couple of coats in the morning, a couple in the night.
Is it all over your bed sheets, all over your
Yeah, and it
towels?
stinks, and then you got to stand there like this to dry out, because if you put your arms down, then there's a patch, and you're fucking starving to death, and you're dying, and you're dehydrated, and you got to fucking stand up, and you just want to sit down, and it stinks, and it's horrible, and yeah, okay. I disliked it intensely.
Do you think if you didn't put that shit on your body, you'd have won 6 times Mr. Olympia?
No, you can't, mate, because under the lights you just wash
gives
out and
that-
look really pale.
That
Yeah.
definition.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? But that's interesting that you hated that. I can't imagine.
Horrible. I don't even like the smell of a bodybuilding tanning stuff anymore. Makes me feel ill.
That. Right, I've got one for you. Fill in the blank. Carl Froch is. Bear in mind we only just met a week ago.
Light warrior.
Warrior, love it.
Light warrior.
Light warrior.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You just don't know yet, fully.
How do you mean?
Because you're a warrior in the ring, right?
Yeah.
But then there's other levels, mate.
Right, okay.
All right. You'll get it later on.
I need to go on that journey.
You'll get it later on.
But listen, I'll take the warrior.
Okay.
My man.
I didn't mean
Your knowledge.
lightweight.
No.
I meant light frequency. Frequency, mate.
It's not lightweight to me, it's like warrior to me.
Yeah,
Hang on, did you
yeah.
say light or like?
Light.
Light warrior.
As in the light.
Right, okay.
Opposite to dark.
I just heard warrior and thought,
Yeah, light warrior.
Take that
mate.
from the Dorian machine. So, what's the way to your heart?
Wow.
Fat spliff.
Way to my heart. I don't know.
There's got to be a way to your heart.
Real.
Being real, yeah?
Real, yeah.
And that's something you'd be able to see.
Yeah, I know. Feel, mate. Feel.
Yeah, feel it.
Feel it. You know, at this point,
Yeah.
the only reason that I have any kind of abilities like this is because of all the shit that I've been through, mate. You know, at this point. But before, no, I couldn't.
No.
And people take the piss, and well, you know, but that's a process.
Yeah.
Why did those people take the piss?
Yeah.
Why were they there in my life? To, you know, from my point of view, they are taking the piss.
Yeah.
From their point of view, it's something else. But there's all stepping stones to learn. You know,
Yeah,
normally,
absolutely.
normally when the lessons are a bit painful, you learn better.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So that's why I'm kind of the way I am now.
Yeah, I like
Through
that.
that whole process, yeah. And I'm
feel-
still like, listen, I still want to learn, yeah. And not only that, I want to like, whatever I learn, I want to try to pass it on somehow
Yeah.
to people, and then they pick it up, and that's what I mean, mate, by a light warrior. Yeah, it's not about having a physical fight. It's about there's good and bad, or good information and bad information, or good role models, bad role models, the truth, the fucking lies, and you're on the side of the light. That's what I meant by that. And you have an audience, you have power,
Yeah.
and you can take the people on your journey, because I see that you're very keen to learn things. So you can take people on that journey with you, and they can learn and benefit from it as well.
Yeah. When I appreciate that. When I knew I was coming out here to talk to you, I did a bit of research. But one thing I noticed about you, you never like you say about hardship and coming through adversity makes you what you are, which it does, absolutely, because people have had it too easy. There's certain promoters that are silver spoon fed and they come through and they've got everything, and they've never been through any hardship or adversity.
And if you haven't done it, you don't know about it.
They ain't got the character, they ain't got that, it's not in there, but I feel that you've been through quite a lot of hardships, but you're stoic, so you don't complain or talk about it really much.
No.
You just get on with it.
I mean, it's not like I learned from ayahuasca that it's not, you don't need to be fucking holding your emotions in and being this false, you know, like they're almost like laughing at me. They're like, just let it out, man. Why do you do that? Like, it's from their culture, you know, the Peruvian Indians, they're like, if we feel like crying, we just cry. It's not even a thing. Like, just, what the men, why you're damaging yourself doing that? So
fascinating.
You know,
really interesting.
let it out if you have to. But I've been through a lot of stuff, but it's I'm not one of those people that wants to broadcast my life, mate. You know, I'll go through it and I'll learn from it, and gives me empathy for other people. I get people that's had depression and drug problems and all that. I'm like, listen, I know how you feel, mate. I've been there, so you can come out. You'll find your way
Absolutely.
out of it.
And that's one thing. I mean, we're sitting here now in Cannabis, and the community that you've got here and the people that are here. You've got people that have been to Alcoholics Anonymous. My brother's 8 years sober. My big brother Lee, when I was fighting, he was doing the tickets and meeting people and going to the pub, and he was drinking too much. Then he was trying to make money because he seen me making money. So he was gambling, and he'll gamble and lose all his money. And then to drown his sorrows, he's drinking, and then to stay awake, he'll be sniffing that shit up his nose. And it's like a vicious circle. And he did that for so long, so many years. I didn't see it until I retired from boxing. And then we had this moment where we kind of clashed, and we ended up on the floor, and we both had each other in a headlock, and it kind of ended in tears, but that was the start of his rebuilding process. That was his rock bottom. And he's 8 years sober now. And I think the reason I mentioned it is because where we're sat here today at Cannabis, you can walk in this door with an addiction, with problems that you're bottling up yourself, and you feel like there's no one there to help you. But actually, you just come and talk to people.
Because everyone here's got their own story, mate. You know, everyone's been through stuff, so we can share. And we don't have anything here like official, like, you know, hey, come and sit down and have a round table and have a chat. Or like,
but I was over there with.
But it just happens. That's what I'm saying, mate. You just come here.
It's organic.
People sit and we sit down, we have a chat, and people feel comfortable. Because hey, we've all been through shit, mate. We've all been through shit, embarrassing stuff, depression, like everything. We've all been through it. So, you know, nobody's judging, and it's just good to have somewhere to go and you're going to chat to like-minded people and people that's open, you know, and not judgmental and so on. So yeah, that's the social aspect of it here, mate, that we're building.
Talk from final question.
All right.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Sorry, my answers were a bit not quick fire.
No, it's fine. It's better. What's your favourite karaoke song?
Well, I don't have a favourite karaoke song because if I did karaoke, mate, it would be the fucking worst insult to any song ever.
No, but there must be. But listen, I'm the same. I play the guitar a little bit and I can't sing. But that didn't stop me from trying when I was doing a bit of Johnny Cash. Do you know a bit of Johnny Cash? Folsom Prison Blues?
Not really.
You must know that
I'm
one.
more be like UB40 reggae.
UB40. I tell you what, my stepdad Steve. UB40.
Red wine. I could go with that maybe, but you wouldn't want to hear it. So,
No.
Yeah, but I'm a big reggae fan. Goes
Big
back
reggae
to my
fan, yeah.
roots in Birmingham. Yeah, so that's something I always take with me wherever I am. It's a little bit of UK culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's Jamaican, I know, but it's big in UK as well.
It was big when you was coming
Yeah,
through.
especially in Birmingham when I was growing up and everything. Yeah.
But we're not getting a tune out of Dorian Yates.
You don't want that, mate. Look, it's not raining yet.
I'm not going to
don't
try
want to disturb the weather.
I'm not going to try and strong arm him because he's still got
Maybe 10 to 15 tequilas deep in Puerto Banús.
Tequilas. Do you like tequila as well?
I mean, I'm just efficient, mate. Like, let's get the
tip
job
on
done, yeah?
Let's
get the job done.
Let's get the job done. Nice bit of clean tequila.
Well, if I want, sometimes cold day, yeah? A nice cold beer is good.
Yeah.
Or with a meal, a glass of red wine, something.
Nice
it's
steak.
nice, yeah. But if you're going out with the express purpose of getting inebriated and having a good time or whatever, then let's just get to the point.
Couple of shots of tequila.
And I think something about tequila, apparently that's the easiest alcohol to recover from.
Yes, it's pure.
Well, something about tequila, it's almost energizing, like woo.
I find that.
Where
more of a
most
suppressant
alcohol is
than
like,
depressant.
it's a bit
Depressant,
more depressing, so yeah, definitely. But my tequila days are over. 25 shots in a night was my record when I was being silly. Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. Told you it was hardcore. 25 shots of tequila.
Yeah, and I did drinking competitions with Russians when I was in Russia as well. So done loads of madness, mate, to get to where I am now. You know, but it's life experience, and I don't regret any of it really.
And then you shouldn't, because it's all like you say.
It's all brought to where we are at this point in time.
You don't win and lose, do you? You win and learn. If something goes wrong, adversity makes you stronger. It's coming back from it.
It depends how you look at it. It depends if you want to sit on your arse or you want to get up. As simple as that.
Yeah. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit and talk to you.
Yes, mate. Let's get something to eat now in the Cannibalist restaurant. Eh?
Dorian Yates, Froch on fighting. We're going to go for a little training session. We'll get a couple of shorts on
little training session next week.
We're not doing legs. We're doing chest and arms. I've sent out the EMFs to change his mind.
Listen, guys, I think you should vote on it. Should we let Carl, world boxing champion,
let me know in the comments
cruise
below.
on chest, or should we just push him a little bit on legs, mate? This guy's been through rounds. He's been through wars. Leg day is nothing. So.
Have you seen my chicken legs?
It's all relative, mate. It's all relative.
Anyway, this has been another episode of Froch on Fighting with the main man, Dorian Yates. Thanks for joining.
What's up?
If you haven't already, don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Check out Cannibalist. It's one hell of a place, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, man. Yay!
It's a wrap. Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Well done, man.